Hey guys, welcome to my playthrough of Dungeons & Dragons Online, or DDO. My name's Ron Heiler. For those of you who are coming from the world of YouTube and Let's Plays, you might remember me from such video playthroughs as Saints Row and Assassin's Creed Rogue, and I'm partway through Grand Theft Auto 5 as I'm recording this. For those of you coming from the world of DDO, I'm probably best known as the guy who wrote and maintained the DDO character planner. I've kept that up for about the last, 7 or 8 years, something like that. For the last probably half of that, I've had help, and I want to send out thanks to Dragonstar and Black Day, who are my partners in crime on that particular piece of software. They've been, of course, a huge help to me, but I'm not really here to talk about the character planner. So I'm sitting here at the character creation screen. We're going to create a new character for this particular playthrough. Dungeons & Dragons, unlike most MMORPGs, is got a very deep and complex character creation system. Of course, that comes from it being it's coming from Dungeons & Dragons, basically. So we're going to start up a new character. Let's see, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the one I want is under Specialist. Let me double check that. Yeah. Okay, so male or female? I tend to play about half male, half female characters, depending upon my mood. It doesn't really matter. I think we'll play female, just for the heck of it. So we're going to start off with a rogue. This character is actually going to end up being mostly bard. It's going to have splashes of rogue and fighter in it. And the general wisdom is that whenever you create a character with any rogue levels in it, you should start them off at level 1, and I'll go over that in a little bit. So we're going to customize. We're going to stay human. Humans get an extra feat at level 1, and they also get an extra bonus skill point for every level. And actually, we're fairly skill-starved with this build, so I want that extra skill point. Okay, let's take a look at the looks. Wait, go back. Why did we not go back? I guess we're going to go straight into the customization. Okay, fair enough. It's been a while since I've done this now. I've got 32-point builds opened up on this server. If you're playing this game for the first time, you may only have 28-point builds. There's not really anything I can do about that. I think I have 32-point builds opened up on all the servers. So if you're playing along, you may not be able to get these exact same stats. But I'm going to start this character off at the wisdom at 8 and a 16 charisma. Okay. So here's our starting stats. I've set strength to 14, giving us a +2 modifier. That's strength is important for attack and damage. Dex of 14. We need a minimum Dex of 13 for one of the feats that we're going to take. And just because I have an aversion to putting ability scores at an odd level, I'm going to raise it to 14. Constitution drives our hit points, so we want to keep that reasonably high. I've got intelligence up to 14 just for skill points. No other real reason for this particular build. Does she need intelligence? Wisdom we don't need for this character, so I've left it at 8, and charisma is the primary attribute for bards. So, okay. So skills. We should have, yeah, we got 44 points for skills. Now, that's quite a lot. We can spend as many as 4 points per skill in each skill right now. So I'm going to raise some of these. Search, spot, concentration. Okay, so you'll notice these ones with the asterisk, these are cross-class skills. I can only raise them by 2 points, although it still costs me 4 points to raise. That's all right. Okay, so what else do we want to raise here? Haggle. Yeah, let's get Haggle up. Jump. Listen. Okay, pretty good. We don't usually have that many skill points. I think we'll have typically 8 or 9 skill points per level. The first level they give you 4 times as many, so we had way more skills points than we actually really needed. The primary skills we're going to be going after really are disable device, open lock, search, spot, concentration, and perform. We'll be putting a few points into balance. Okay, those are the ones we're going to be using primarily during the game. Okay. Let's head into the next screen. Now we need our feats. So let's go with single weapon fighting. So this is a stance. This is going to give us an extra bonus to attack speed and melee power. And we're going to take toughness, which will give us extra hit points, which is good for a bard because bards don't naturally have a lot of hit points. Okay, so there's a summary of our character. Okay, let's fix the looks. This is terrible. There we go. How about bright red? Okay. Give her green eyes or blue eyes. Oh, nose is fine. Okay, let's lose the scar. And her skin needs to be something less zombie-like. There we go. That's better. All right. Should we give her bright red lips for to match her hair? Okay. And a quick name. And I need her to be neutral. Don't forget to change that. That's important. Okay, guys. they're a level 1 rogue. Okay, we're gonna load in the first area. I'm not gonna. Oh yeah, gosh, it's been a while since I've been here. I'm not gonna start up the first quest yet. Instead, what we're gonna do is go over some rules. Also, I might start setting up my screen a little bit. So naturally, we're going to play by the DDO rules. We have no choice in that. That's, they're the rules of the game. But we're going to add some rules on top of that for the purposes of this playthrough. So first of all, this is a solo playthrough. This game is, of course, a MMORPG, and it's really meant to be played. This particular game is meant to be played as a group. Often there are 6 people in a group, and the dungeons are really set up that way. They're set up for group play. We're going to play solo. This character's going to take on dungeons which are meant for 6 people to take on, and she's going to do them by herself. So that's just how good she is. Included in that is there's going to be no hirelings used, except where I have to use them for purposes of pulling levers or pushing on plates. And in the cases where I do have to use a hireling, I'm going to just use them for that purpose. They're not allowed to help out in any other way. Okay. We are not going to use the auction house. We're not going to use any daily dice rolls. As far as vendors and brokers go, those are okay. For those of you who understand DDO, you might be asking yourself, well, how come we can use the brokers but we can't use the auction house? The justification for that is the broker prices are all game set, whereas the auction house prices are all player set. So I consider it less metagaming to use the brokers than I do the auction house. In reality, guys, because of the rules of how we're going to play this, that's really not... We almost aren't actually ever going to use the brokers because it's just going to be out of our price range. This character's not going to have a lot of money. And everything in the brokers is fairly expensive. And additionally, we're not going to have anything to sell at the brokers or the auction house. That's going to be anything that anybody's going to want. Okay. We're going to play a completionist style, which means we're going to explore the dungeons fully to the best of our abilities. There's going to be cases where we can't quite get to every nook and cranny of every dungeon because of limitations of the character. If we look at our character sheet, for instance, I can never get it to come up. Why is it not coming up? There we go. With a strength of 14, I might not necessarily be able to get through every strength barrier, or wisdom barriers for sure will be problematic for us. These things like rune locks and whatnot. Okay. If we go over to the Adventure Compendium, I sort this by level. These are the adventures in the game up through level... It's showing through level 3. Okay. We're going to go through each of these dungeons exactly 4 times, usually. So each of these adventures has 4 difficulty levels: casual, normal, hard, and elite. We're going to do once per each difficulty level. In cases where there's less, like some of these don't have a casual, we'll do it once per difficulty level. So if it's some of these, we only do 3 times. and so on. Furthermore, we're going to do them at level. So what I mean by that is the level that is shown here is the level of the quest at normal difficulty level. Okay, casual is -1, hard is +1, and elite is +2. So we'll do all the level 1 quests at level 1, at character level 1. We'll do all the level 2 quests at character level 2, which includes the level 2 quests on normal, but it also includes level 1 quests on hard. Okay. The reasoning behind all of this, gang, is that gives us the best ability, really, or the best shot at getting some half-decent equipment out of these things without too much metagaming. The purpose of all these rules really is to avoid metagaming, by which I mean doing stuff that's kind of unrealistic in the world that we're in. Really, if I wanted to completely avoid that, we'd only do it once. I mean, because how would you do a dungeon more than once? But if I did that, we would never have any decent equipment at all. Many people run these quests many times until they get exactly the equipment they want out of them. That's standard in this game. We're stuck with running them 4 times. If we don't get the equipment we want after 4 times, well, you know, we're stuck with what we're going to use. Okay. Exploration areas. There's some exploration areas in this game. The only thing I'm going to say about those is the rare encounters, which have chests associated with them. We're allowed to do those, each rare encounter at one time. If it turns out that we run into a rare encounter more than once and we have to kill the rare, we're only allowed to loot his chest one time. Any subsequent times we're not allowed to loot the chest. Okay. Deaths, if we die during an adventure, that is not a mandatory restart if we don't want to. I find often I will restart, but we're not playing permadeath here, so if we die, we can go back into the adventure and pick up back up where we left off. I'm okay with using shrines. Again, some people who are permadeath oriented don't use shrines. I'm perfectly fine with using shrines for healing and for resurrection. Okay, so those are basically the rules. What it comes down to, gang, is no metagaming. Nothing. We're not going to do anything outside the scope of kind of the game itself. So no daily dice, no auction house. That kind of thing. All right, so those are the rules we're going to work under. So yeah, I think that's about it. I know we haven't really done any adventure. We just kind of did an introduction. We did a quick character build, and I went over the rules. I sort of started to set up my screen, but not really. I'll get this thing set up a little bit better as we go through the next adventure. So in the next video, we'll start our first adventure. We'll get that going, kind of the introductory adventure. And yeah, so I will see you guys then. Thanks a lot.